Each of these 575 points of light had to defeat fear, suspicion, and even just plain old complacency. They didn't say, "This is why I can't help." They said, "This is why I can, why I must." We've honored them for volunteering to help others in their own communities.
This is the medal that they gave me at the ceremony in Disney World from the president. It's gold, and it's round, and it's in the center are two profiles facing each other. Their noses like almost together, and under it is a candle. The candle part, and the flame is coming up above the noses like as a point of light.
This is America!
The time, September 30th, 1991. The place, Disney World, Florida, during its 20th anniversary celebration. The occasion, President George Bush honoring the nation's volunteers by awarding 575 points of light. And among the honorees was the first individual recipient to be named from Western New York. She also was the only blind person on stage. Nominated for the prestigious national award by the Blind Association of Western New York was Lola REPPENHAGEN of the town of Tonawanda. President Bush recognized Mrs. REPPENHAGEN for devoting more than 30 years of volunteer service to the blind and visually impaired.
I got a call from the White House asking me if they could read an article that had been sent in about me, and was it all right? And I didn't even know what it was all about. And then at 6 o'clock that night, they called and told me I had been selected for this, and I was I couldn't believe it, and I was just thrilled to death.
And the letter from the president, also in Braille. Can you read some of it for us, please?
It's got my address and name here, and then it says, "Dear Mrs. REPPENHAGEN," and it says, "I was delighted to learn of your outstanding work on behalf of the community. Your generosity and willingness to serve others merits high praise." And he says, "I am pleased to recognize you as the 546th daily point of light."
And then came the trip to Disney World.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Was it very difficult for you to get down there and get settled and get straightened around?
Not really. It's a little difficult when you first go places to get used to your room and different things. But Bob was with me, and you know, it was just wonderful.
Bob was with you a lot now. He retired as a school teacher, and I bet he is busier than ever keeping up with you and all of your organizations, isn't he?
He sure is. And he's wonderful because he drives anybody and everybody I ask him to, and he helps me in so many, many ways and goes everywhere with me.
You saw Disney World. You visualized it.
Yes, I do.
How do you do that?
Well, I have a very good imagination, I guess you call it, and I see things in color in my mind, and if I touch something once, I know just how it is and what it is, and I can feel it and sense it. And I work with a relaxation meditation group which teaches you a lot of this stuff, and I've been in it for many years, and it helps me a lot.
So it was beautiful down there.
Oh yes, it was just lovely.
And then the big morning as you and all of the recipients of the points of light gathered on the stage with President Mrs. Bush. Can you tell us what it was like?
We walked up and we stood in front of our seats until all the music and things were over. And well, first though, they had the president come in, and that was so awesome. I don't know how to say it. It's to hear the music that they play for him, and the flag ceremonies and things was just, I really couldn't believe that it was me that was there. It's very emotional, and it's just something I'll never, ever, ever forget.
This was all made possible because of your many years of service to the blind and visually impaired. When did Lola REPPENHAGEN first lose her sight?
Well, I have retinitis pigmentosa, which I was probably born with, but with that you have no peripheral vision, but I didn't even know that. I knew that I bumped into things and stumbled on stairs, but I didn't know why. And, I really, after I married Bob, I was about, I had 3 children, and when my daughter, who was the youngest, was just 5 years old, my vision started getting worse rapidly, and I was about 33 or 4 then. And I went to the doctor, and he said, of course you know you're going to be blind. And within 6 months, I lost my sight completely. And so I've been blind for, I don't know, 35 years or so, totally blind. I just felt like the bottom had dropped out of my world, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to do anything, but there again, Bob was so wonderful, and told me that, you know, he'd always be here to help and everything. And I cried for the whole year. A whole year I cried because I just didn't think I could do anything. And then I thought, if I keep this up and feel sorry for myself, no one's going to want me around or no one's going to love me, and I just better quit that. And so I started to smile, and I only cry I only cried when I was alone. Now I don't even cry. I don't even think about being blind. I just got very active. I got very active helping other people, and I don't even think of myself anymore as being blind or anything.
You are helping people to get over the hurt that you had when you first lost your sight.
That's right. Yeah.
You have an organization entitled Visions Unlimited. Just what happens at these sessions?
We teach relaxation and meditation, and teach them how to accept themselves and think positively about things and be able to live without the stress of feeling and thinking that you can't do anything because you're blind or because there's something wrong with you. Close your eyes and take a slow, even, deep breath. Now I'm going to play the tape, and I want you to do what the tape says, and it'll help you get rid of your stress and be able to be more positive and live a much happier life.
Can you tell us what's going to be happening today with the group, the blind leading the blind?
I was sitting here one night thinking that I wish I'd had a friend that was blind when I lost my sight, that it might have made it easier for me. So I talked to Bob about it, and he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'd really like to start a place where I could have people come who were losing their vision and have somebody like me, others who have adjusted, talk to them and see if we could help.
A support group.
A support group. And we didn't know what to call it. And we were trying to find a name, and one day my husband said, well, why don't you call it Blind Leading the Blind? That's what you're doing.
Why, sure.
So that's what we did. Can you feel it and see it?
Yes.
What's a knife? What's a knife? Don't cut yourself. And then you put it, I love it for tomatoes. And this is a measuring. If you're cooking, if you're measuring teaspoons or tablespoons, it's got the tablespoon here and your teaspoon here and your half here and so forth.
Tell me about your involvement with the blind bowlers.
I've been in there now for well, since 1967, and I've been an officer ever since. We've had to have 40 bowlers with 10 teams with 4-man teams up until this year, and we're short of bowlers a little bit this year. We have 37 now, and we went to 3-man teams, and we have 12.
How do you operate, and how do you get everybody in the right lane and so forth?
Well, we have rails. We have the aluminum rails, which are 3 foot high and 15 foot long. And then we have a schedule, which incidentally I type up, and Bob reads it, and we put it on cassette tape and give it to all the bowlers. And it has our teams and what alley you're on for that week and who you're bowling. And that's how we keep track of everything.
That's all right.
Got the 10 or something?
I left the 5
Well, Lola, you've been recognized by the President of the United States for volunteering. And how has volunteering helped Lola Reppenhagen?
Well, it's just probably, I don't know, God must have been with me, because it's just terrible to lose your vision. And as I said, you think it's the worst thing in the world. And now, if I had my choice, I would rather be blind than any other handicap. What it's done for me is make me realize that not being able to see isn't the only thing in the world. You know, you can do many, many more things. And I just do everything I want to do practically.
We celebrate the potential for a nation whose goodness grows out of small acts of consequence made by many people.
I would just like to say thank you to all the volunteers that have helped me over the years, and we always need volunteers, and I've had many, many of them that has helped me along the way, and that's one of the reasons that I can handle myself today as well as I do.
And may we be filled with the words St. Francis lived by nearly 8 centuries ago: where there is hatred, let me sow love; where there is despair, hope; and where there is darkness, light. Thank you all.